Well, hey there, Mama, and welcome back to the Moms Overcoming Overwhelm podcast, episode number 161. I'm Emily McDermott, and I'm here beside you on this journey as we work together to declutter your home, head, and heart. I know if you are anything like me, there have been a time or two where you have felt mom guilt. Mom guilt is always something that we hear about before we become a mom. And then you actually have kids and you're like, oh, this is what they're talking about when they say mom guilt, right? This feeling that you get multiple times a day sometimes because we are stretched so thin and trying to do so many things, and it's hard to be everything to everyone. So today I am going to be talking about 5 causes of mom guilt and how we can say goodbye to mom guilt for good. So what do you say? Grab the notebook and pen and let's dive into today's episode. Okay, everyone, before we jump in, I have an announcement. As many of you know, over the summer, I took a little bit of break from the podcast. I just had something coming out once a week, and they were mostly replays. And I realized as we've started this new school season, and today my youngest is unexpectedly home sick with pneumonia and strep, that I am going to go back to a weekly episode just on Thursdays because I feel like I want to pour into the community that we already have over at the Facebook group, tinyurl.com/moms overcoming overwhelm, and also grow my coaching business, especially my in-person home decluttering and organizing, but also my virtual for those of you not in the Washington, D.C. area. So I am going to be starting that next week. We will have a regular episode this Thursday, and then going forward, just episodes on Thursday. And thank you in advance for your understanding. Let's go ahead and jump into these 5 causes. So this is sort of a combination going off of the episodes we've had recently about cognitive biases. These are kind of mindset blocks and cognitive biases, sort of a mix. And the first one is the spotlight effect. Now, the spotlight effect is when we magnify our mistakes because we think that other people are noticing us a lot more than they are. I will never forget I think that my youngest was probably around 3, and we were at Target. I never took them to the toy section, but of course we were in the toy section and it was time to go. And I think he was a little bit hangry. He was really, really mad at me, and I literally had to pick him up, carry him all the way out the store. Now, have you noticed that in most stores, the toys are in the back? They need like a escape route for for moms with screaming toddlers. So I carried him all the way through the store the whole way. He was screaming, screaming, screaming. And I just figured everyone is looking at me. Everyone thinks that I'm a horrible mom. We've probably all been there. But the fact is that while social media does allow for more judgment because people are definitely sharing any and all opinions that they have, it's true that people are still more concerned about their own lives than they will ever be concerned about you. So when you are feeling sort of that spotlight effect on what you're doing, just kind of remembering that, and also trying to find a community of moms who are truthful about what's going on in motherhood. I hope that you can definitely find that here. But just surrounding yourself with moms who are keeping it real, talking about all of the things that no one ever tells you about being a mom, like all the possible liquids and things that can come out of your child, and all of the meltdowns and the tantrums and all of it. And just surrounding yourself with that community will help with that. Now, the second cause of mom guilt is the negativity bias. The negativity bias serves us well for survival purposes because the human brain prioritizes negative experiences for survival. So if there was a fire that was going a little bit bigger than we wanted way back when we were cooking all of our food over a fire, then we would know, oh, we have to do something about that. Our brain was noticing something that was negative, something that was different. But the problem is that in our parenting and in our motherhood, if our interactions are focused with that negativity bias, we often are criticizing our children. We're trying to correct problems, so that comes off as complaining or nagging or giving them lots of consequences. And so then our kids think that we're seeing them in a negative light. But we can also do this for ourselves, right? That we can have a million things go well in a day and we focus on the one thing that went wrong. So we want to celebrate every day what we are doing well. And at night before my youngest goes to bed, we do prayers. And the prayer that I kind of came up with is called prom prayer. So prom stands for praise, repent, praying for others, and then myself. And for the prom, the P in the prom for praise, we ask, what went well today? What am I grateful for today? And he does it and I do it. And that's a good way for me to look through the day in a more positive light. And that's something that we as moms really need to do every day, asking ourselves what went well today so we can counteract that negativity bias. The third cause of mom guilt is something that is called the Zeigarnik effect. And this was named after the Russian psychologist who first noticed this effect. His name was Bluma Zeigarnik. I hope I'm saying that right. And this is the tendency of the human brain to remember unfinished tasks more than completed ones. Now, I talk about how clutter is seen as undone tasks, and that is true. And so when you think about what is constantly unfinished, which is everything, the tasks that we have to do around the house, cleaning, paperwork, you name it, it's really overwhelming, right? And so what could we possibly do to cause there to be less unfinished tasks that we're constantly ruminating about? Well, one of the things is to just remove the excess stuff that we have. And also, when you are looking at different projects, you can think about what is aspirational as a project, what might be something you can realistically finish. And in episode 10, we talk about aspirational clutter, so that might be a good episode to listen to. Also, having more margin in your days, because if you feel like you're constantly starting things and not finishing it, maybe you just need more space to do less things better. And the last thing is something from Gretchen Rubin called the 1 minute rule, although it could be the 3 minute rule or the 5 minute rule, which is that anything that you can get done in 1 minute, you want to complete those. And that would go for a lot of things, but let's just say, oh, I didn't check the mail today. Oh, I can just check it tomorrow. If you keep doing that, your mailbox might be completely full. You might frustrate the post office employee. So perhaps we say, okay, it just takes a minute, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And the 1 minute rule is really life-changing because it could be picking up laundry off the floor, or it could be, okay, I'm going to go switch out the laundry. That just takes a minute. Any of those things can help you to complete tasks, and then you're not having all of this rumination of what haven't I done and causing that to make you feel guilty. Okay, moving right along to number 4, the fourth cause of mom guilt is having a fixed rather than a growth mindset. Now, this was coined by Carol Dweck, and her mindset book is famous. But essentially, fixed mindset is when you say, okay, this is who I am. I can't change. I'm not good at math, so I can't help my kid with his math homework. I don't know much about basketball, so I can't play a game of basketball with my kids because I don't know what I'm doing. Also, when you have a fixed mindset, you see all criticism as something to resist and maybe resent. You never see any criticism as constructive or a way to grow. But moms who have a growth mindset, they believe that they can improve at anything. They like to learn. They learn from failures and they learn from all experiences. And they see the world differently in 5 ways. So here are the 5 ways. They see challenges as opportunities to learn. They see obstacles as stepping stones to improvement. They realize that effort is the key to mastery, not that we have to be perfectionists, right? Effort. Criticism is valuable feedback, and the success of others is an inspiration, not a threat. Now, the last one I want to focus on because when it comes to social media, it's so easy for us to see what everyone else is doing. And especially this time of year, I feel like there's all these fall festivals and all these things going on, and we see all the photos. And we want to see what others are doing as a source of inspiration rather than a threat that, oh, I'm doing something wrong, I'm not enough, and all of the things that we tend to think about ourselves when we're comparing ourselves to other moms. Also, if you're trying to grow a business and you see others succeeding in that same genre, that same industry, you could see that as a threat to your success. But with a growth mindset, you realize that you can see them as a way to be inspired and to learn from them as you are going on your own path. On Thursday, we're going to be talking with Gabe Cox, and she talks all about setting goals. And part of having this mindset around goals is you need to have a growth mindset to recognize that you can reach those goals. If you have a fixed mindset, then it's harder for you to reach goals. Okay, that was a lot, I know. But our fifth source of mom guilt, oh, you're going to love this one, are the good mom myths. And I am currently reading a book by Allie Worthington called Remaining You While Raising Them. I would definitely recommend it. And in that book, she goes through 5 myths we tell ourselves as moms, which I'm going to run through really quick. Good moms put their families first. Good moms' kids are obedient and well behaved, always. Number 3, good moms don't get angry. Good moms protect their children from pain, and good moms can do it all. And perhaps you hear some of those and you roll your eyes, and you hear others and you're like, oh yeah, I kind of do believe that to a certain extent. And what we want to do in this case is to recognize our own mom myths by asking ourselves, what makes a good mom? And ask yourself, according to whom? So we want to ask, okay, according to my mom, what makes a good mom? According to my mother-in-law, what makes a good mom? According to social media, my mom friends, and also what does your faith, if that applies, say about what makes a good mom? And what do you believe makes a good mom? So this might be a good writing exercise to see, okay, what are some of the myths that I'm actually believing? And how can I counteract that with the truth of what motherhood actually is? So I hope that those are helpful. Again, I'm going to run through them really quick. These are 5 causes of my mom guilt and how we can say goodbye to good. These are 5 causes of mom guilt and how to say goodbye for good. Number 1 is the spotlight effect, where we magnify our mistakes because we think others notice us and they really don't. Number 2 is the negativity bias, that we prioritize negative experiences over positive ones. Number 3 is the Zeigarnik effect, which means we focus on tasks that are incomplete a lot more than those that are complete. Number 4 is fixed mindset rather than having a growth mindset. And number 5 is believing the good mom myths. So hopefully you can learn something from this episode as far as which ones of those causes and the cognitive biases and mental and mindset blocks are causing an issue for you. And I hope that that was helpful so we can say sayonara to mom guilt. And on Thursday, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking to Gabe Cox. She is a podcaster and an entrepreneurial coach for professional women and some men. And we're going to be talking about how in a season of overwhelm can we actually attempt to reach our goals. So I know that you're going to love the conversation, and I will see you on Thursday. Bye for now.